Ride through the city like Brennan Schaub. I'm on a mission to get it all. Ride through the city like Brennan Schaub. If you ain't thick, please don't get involved.
And now, Brandon Thick Boy Schaub. What is poppin', Thick fam? It is Monday morning. Monday Super Bowl hangover. Holler at your boy. What's going on, thickies, thickers, thickums, thickets, thicketers? It is 10:30 a.m. Your boy got a little bit of a late start. Not going to lie to you. This 7-shot espresso needs to kick in like you wouldn't believe. This is 11th show I've done in a row in 7 days, so that's cool. Life is grand. Surprised to have my voice. Yeah, man, Super Bowl week. You got all the fighters in town, so we doubled down on food truck and flashback fight nights, and then you had the Fight Companion Saturday with Matt Mitrione, Chris D'Elia, Brian Callen, which is my favorite show to do. Oh, there's Matt. There we go. One of my favorite people. One of my absolute favorite freaking people, Matt Mitrione. Yeah, man, you got to realize me and Matt go way back. We go freaking way back. And, I've done a lot of shows. I said this on my Instagram. I said this on Companion. I've done a ton of shows with fighters. And you'll see, man, on Food Truck and Flashback Fight Nights, the new show we're doing, formerly known as Classic Fight Companions, but that's confusing, so we changed the name, out of all the fighters I've ever interviewed, I've had some great shows. Some of my favorite ones, the one with Izzy, I absolutely love. Chael, the shows I did with Luke Thomas. The MMA community is so great, man. None better than Matt Mitrione. We started with football together. We had a similar trainer in Lauren Landau, who's the head strength conditioning coach for the Denver Broncos. He got Matt and I ready for the NFL. And then when we went into the Ultimate Fighter house, that was our connection, so we looked out for each other. So if you remember back on that season 10 Ultimate Fighter, most viewed one of all time, not a big deal, but because of Kimbo, not me and Matt, no one knew who we were. But if you go back and look at that season, I always looked out for Matt. When he had the concussion, remember, I was the only, and he was like the snitch, right, for the team. I was the only one that took care of him, gave him Gatorade and stuff like that. It's because we had a previous connection in Lauren Landau before, so we've always looked out for each other. And then just similar paths, man. You're talking about, football players trying to shake the assumption, that we're just these athletic meatheads that are just trying to make a quick buck in the UFC. I think Matt leaned into that a little more than I did. My whole thing was I want to be taken serious as a martial artist, and Matt just let you know he was doing it for money and it was something to do, and he had a pretty damn good career, man. Doing my research, I know who Matt's fought, but I think when you stop and look at it, we all know, especially if you're a fan of fighting, you're familiar with Matt Mitrione. But when you actually look at his body of work for a guy that was always kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, could take it or leave it, didn't know who Fedor was for the longest. Even when he knocked him out, I don't think he realized what he was up against. You look at his body of work and who he's fought, and with the little experience that both him and I had, it's pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy. He's fought some, Czech Congo, Roy Nelson, Brendan Schaub, Derrick Lewis, Gabriel Gonzaga, Ben Rothwell, Travis Brown, Fedor, Roy Nelson. He beat Roy. Ryan Bader, Kiritanov, he's fought the who's who in the game, man. And you're talking about a guy who not really passionate about fighting, just a freak athlete, great footwork. And I always thought, we talked about this in Companion, I always thought Matt was going to be, I thought Matt was going to turn into kind of like a Bisping guy, as far as a guy who had a great career, obviously nowhere near the career Bisping had. I'm about a, face of European mixed martial arts, and they haven't had one since, to be honest. They've tried, but guys just keep dropping the ball, for lack of a better metaphor, especially when it comes to Euro. But they've tried, but there's just never been another Michael Bisping. So, but my comparison there is, Bisping took his career, world champion, and had some phenomenal fights, Hall of Famer, first bout Hall of Famer. and then parlayed that into, you know, his career as an analyst. And he's also huge in the space of YouTube. And he's one of, you know, there's only about 6 of us, you know, who drop some facts when it comes to fighting, stuff like that, and speaks from his heart, even though he works for Mickey Mouse. So, you know, I thought Mitrione would have a similar career path. And then you got to realize, as smart as Matt is, even though his nickname's a meathead, as smart as Matt is, he has all the charisma in the world. And I refer to him as Batty off Fern Gully. I'm telling you, if you look up clips on YouTube, it's Matt Mitrione to a fucking T. He is Batty. He's all over the place. It's just the way he's wired. It's not, you know, drugs or anything like that. It's just Matt Mitrione. You know, maybe his mom was titty milk or whatever. It just made his brain a little different. He's wired a little different. And he's one of the most unique characters on the freaking planet. So I thought he would parlay that into a really successful MMA media career. And then you forget, oh, he doesn't care about MMA. He doesn't care about fighting. So, you know, he's doing his thing now. And he fought that Triller boxing fight, again, just for the money. You'll hear about why he did it on Food Truck and the flashback fight nights. And I get it. You know, he has a wife now and he has 3 babies. When I say babies, one's 16. And that was the thing I said on Companion too. The one thing that I admire most about Matt, even before I had kids, you know, I've always wanted to be a dad. I've always prided myself on being a great dad. And I will always remember Matt, even when the Ultimate Fighter house, when his kids were young. I think he had like a 2-week-old and then like a 4-year-old or some shit like that. He just kept saying, my babies, man, I miss my babies. He's always put his kids first, no matter what, no matter how chaotic his life was. Matt always doubled down on his kids, which made me love Matt even more. It's a long story short, I love Matt Mitrione. We got to do more work together. You know, we spitball some ideas about, you know, he wants to do a cooking show. He's really into barbecue and stuff like that. And he has all these connections. I think there's something there. Mm-hmm. Definitely think there's something there. That could be dope. I'd be completely down for that. And I talked to him this morning. I said, we just got to do more together, man. Like, I haven't seen Matt when he fought Fedor, which I think 2018 maybe, when I worked for Bellator at Madison Square Garden, when he beat Fedor, is probably the last. That was the last time I saw Matt Mitrione. That is 5 years ago. Before that, I didn't see him. So probably another 5 years. So I've seen him twice in 10 years. Can't be that good of friends. But you know how it is when you know, I think because me and Matt are similar in a lot of ways. When we meet up, it's not, you know, you have those friends where if you don't check in with them, it's always awkward. And then you got to get through that awkward phase. Like, oh, what's going on, man? How are the kids? You're like, oh, God, dude. This is how me and my friends talk. And you got to get that weird, like, awkward transition, catching up. Matt's one of those guys, very rare in my life, one of those guys you just don't have to worry about. And thank God. Thank freaking God. But that Food Truck will drop soon. That flashback fight night will drop soon. Little awkward. Again, I don't pick the fights. My team here picked the fights. We kick off that flashback fight night with me and Matt watching us fight each other. So that was awkward. But it's awkward, and I'm down to do a flashback fight night where we watch my losses. That stuff doesn't bother me in the least bit, you know. So I look at it like if Matt would have won that fight, I'd have no problem with it because neither of us got hurt, thank God. You know, he just got choked out, but no one got hurt. No one, there's no concussion, there's no crazy knockout. We talk about going into the fight, and there's a whole backstory to it, and Joe Silva in the UFC. I think the other reason why Matt and I gel well is because we're both retired. We're out of the game. We're Andy Dufresne from Shawshank Redemption. We crawled through some shit, made it on the other side, and we're in San Juanillo, or the hell they call it. So we can look back, and Matt can speak freely and not worry about consequences and the UFC coming after him, Bellator coming after him, or Triller coming out. He can just speak his truth, and that's what I like. That's what I love, man. So shout out to Matt Mitrione. Those will drop soon. We also do one Michael Chandler, which will drop. And Mike Chandler is one of my favorite people too. Just a complete savage. He talks about his journey, you know, his last fight in Bellator and banking on himself and coming to the UFC and saying he has to, you know, he thought coming to the UFC, he would regret it for the rest of his life. He didn't come to the UFC, and just talks about that whole transition and then also his fights. But again, with Chandler, you know, in the UFC, he is, what is he? He's 1-2, 1-3. I think he's 1-2. So you do flashback fight nights. We watched one Bellator won his last fight with Benson Henderson, which was a critical moment in his life. Yeah, he's 1-2, but really that Justin Gaethje fight, that's not going to hurt you as far as the Q goes. So, he's 1-2, but really it's 1-1 and a big one that's a loss. You know what I'm saying? So his career is going pretty damn good in the UFC. But we watched the Benson Henderson fight because it was a big one, and then we go into his UFC fights, and we watched the Hooker fight, which is a great night for him, and then we watched the Charles Oliveira fight. You got to watch some losses, man, because again, it's not the flashback fight night only win show. Yeah, it's about historic moments in your career, and in fighting, some of your biggest moments that make or break your entire career is some of your losses, how you're defining your losses, and I think that's the biggest takeaway with Chandler, and he's just a great dude, man, great dude. Last night, so did the Companion on Friday. I'm sorry, it was on Saturday for UFC 271. Great card. Here's the thing about Companions is we're drinking, and it's, Brian and Chris, two of my best friends, and Mitrione's one of my best friends. So we pay attention to the fights, but it's really the dudes hanging out, man. So I almost need to just reserve myself from giving my opinion when there's a decision, because I see like certain moments, but as far as like watching it, I still do a better job than the referees and the judges in there, but still, it's just, I should really hold off on making any prediction, because Chris probably doing a oops grenade joke during the key transition, and and then all I see is Robert Whittaker shooting for takedown. So I'll look at Chin like, hey Chin, who won? Chin's like, I'm with you guys, dude. I'm working. What do I look like, man? So I need to hold off on giving my if it goes to close decision, give my opinion, because from the key moments I saw, and this is obviously the hot topic in mixed martial arts right now, the decision for Izzy and Robert Whittaker. So whenever we do a fight campaign, every single time Sunday morning I rewatch the card. Only the main card. I'm not gonna lie to you, I rewatch the main card, because usually I can watch all the early prelims and prelims sober and focused at home. My kids might be running around causing ruckus, but I can pay attention for the most part. The main card, I always have to watch. The first thing I do, wake up Sunday morning at 6 a.m. and I go to the ESPN Plus, and then I go through all the main events, because usually my girl and her family are watching them, so you can watch it because you already bought it. Thank God, I don't have to buy it twice, or really 3 times. I have to buy it here, buy it for my girl, and then if I go watch it Sunday morning, I don't have to rebuy it. They let you have it, I guess. So even my son's seen the last major pay-per-views for, I don't know, how long have you been doing Companion now? About 6 months. So he has to sit down and watch it with me. But yeah, I go through all of them, man. And it was especially the main card was a really good card, man. It was overall just a great night in Houston. Obviously, there's a little bit of drama going into it, right? No Joe Rogan, which again, I said something Companion. Do I know exactly what happened? Sure do. Is it my story to tell? Nope. But when it comes out, you're going to love Joe Rogan even more for missing that one. I'll say that, man. But, and you also love Dana White even more. I will never, ever talk shit about Dana White again. After hearing, him going to bat for his guys. He's just a real one. He's a real one. He might not like me, but I like him. That's how it goes. We got the crush on the girl in high school, and she's just not having it, man. That's what's going on here. I'm the fat kid at the lunch table, and the hot chick's there, and she's not feeling me. That's all right, guys. Yeah, you can still have that crush. I don't need love back. But, yeah, bottom line, no Joe Rogan. Michael Bisping fills in. There can be a guy better for the job. Tough position. I think even if I think Michael Bisping's getting some criticism for being biased on the fight, which I definitely have my thoughts on that. I think no matter how well Bisping did, he was going to get criticized, because whenever there's change, whatever it is, listen, the shows I run here, whenever there's even a slight change, people hate change, man. If you're expecting one thing and you're used to this one thing, and that one thing is the greatest to ever do it as far as Joe Rogan, John Eck, and DC. I think that is the best commentary team of all time. Of absolute all time, there's no one better. So for Bisping to be the guy that replaced him, and obviously for Bisping, it's a great opportunity, and Bisping's very capable of filling those shoes, and he's also a great commentator. I think no matter what, I don't know how Bisping feels about social media and criticism. Hopefully he doesn't listen to it, but he was going to get shit no matter what, because you're filling in for literally the most famous man of all time in the UFC, Joe Rogan, and he has a ton of support, and they'll take their anger out on the guy who has nothing. Bisping's like, yeah, what? Yeah, I'll do it. You got it on plane we flew out that night. That's not a Bisping thing. That's a, Mickey Mouse UFC thing. So, I when I saw Bisping fly out, I'm like, oh, he's gonna take some flack for it. No matter how he does, he's gonna take some flack for it. So Bisping tweeted this. Lots of people saying I had biased commentary. That's crazy. I called it like I saw it. Big opening round for Izzy, then real close rounds after that. But I had Izzy winning most. Five was Rob's best round. 2 probably went Tim also. Close fight, very technical. Well done to both. Couldn't agree more with Michael Bisping. Again, when I was watching it, I was drinking a ton of whiskey and laughing with my friends. But I would see Whittaker, engage in the takedown, stuff like that. We knew he was going to do more takedowns. And I also, I don't think I'm saying anything that reinvents the wheel here, but also Robert Whittaker, it's the best version of him. And we knew he was going to try to grapple more, especially with his background, his wrestling background. And then also going off the blueprint of Jan at 205 against Izzy. If you can take Izzy down in the middle of the octagon, he can't do, who I think he's probably the best of all time, his cage defense, him or Kamaru, but they're up there. You know what I'm saying? But as far as Izzy not being a wrestler, if you're going to try and take him down against the cage, it ain't happening. I think the only guy who can do that is probably a bigger guy like a Jan or even a Khabib. You're talking about the greats, be able to take him down. But outside that, there ain't nobody at 85 taking the man down against the cage. It ain't happening. So I do think Robert Whittaker had a better game plan going into this one, but he didn't go for broke, right? He was very tentative, waited, needed Izzy to commit. And, you're going to, in order to beat Izzy, it's not going to be exciting. It's just not. If you're going to want to beat him, it's going to be a slower. You got to be willing to deal with the backlash from the fans, and especially in person, you're going to get booed. You're not going to get into a shootout with Izzy and walk away the winner. It's not going to happen. The only way Izzy is going to lose is probably a boring decision, man. And you're going to have to grapple him, make it, you don't want to get in a cockfight with him, a phone booth fight. You're not going to win that either. So you're going to have to grapple him, make it boring, control. You land some shots, you're not going to finish him. You're just not. You're not going to land some huge shot. He's too good of a striker. He's too long for the division. So it's just not going to happen. And DC and I talked about this yesterday. I think he talked about it on the Superbowl Companion we did, which was, just so you guys know the way that works, that was a money line Mike Tyson production. So my team didn't shoot that. That was the Malka team shot that. It's the most Hollywood thing I've ever done. I've been in Hollywood for quite some time now, 10 years. It's the most Hollywood thing I've ever seen. So just a little background on that. I get a call, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. They go, hey, we want you to host the Super Bowl party. I go, I like parties. I like hosting. They go, yep. So you're going to watch Super Bowl. It's going to be the companion show. They want to do a companion show that you do. And in my head, whenever people outside of our world go, hey, we want you to do a companion show. Well, here's the thing. And this is where Hollywood just gets it wrong. And I'm saying they did this, but they tried their best. Hollywood goes, oh, that's a successful model for, guys, comics hanging out and watching something, and people are watching them and listening to their commentating, and it does great views after the fact too. We can do that. We can recreate that. But what they don't get is originally the Fight Companion was 4 best friends, and there's chemistry, and we're friends, and we know each other, and we elevate each other. And if someone's doing a bit, you play off of it. No one's trying to steal the show. There's no agenda. It's 4 friends hanging out, having fun. If you want to engage and watch the fight and talk about it, you do that. Or sometimes, when we did it with Joe Rogan, Eddie Bravo, Brian Kahn, myself, we talk about octopuses for an hour. That's the Fight Companion, man. There's no agenda. There's no script. It's, pretty ruthless. And, when you talk about whatever. So when Hollywood gets involved and if you have a producer or something like that, you're not going to get that magic. And then also what they're missing the point on is the reason Fight Companion works because it's 4 friends. When you think about what the Calabas Fight Companion, it's never just a random stranger. That's not going to work. They're not going to get the vibe of the show. So if you think about Calabas Fight Companion, it's Brian Callen, my absolute best friend for how long now? Chris D'Elia, right up there. This is MySpace days. Chris might be over Callen right now, okay? Do you remember that? You had top 10? Was it top 8? And didn't you have to have the fucking creator as your friend? Wasn't it like forced
Tom or something?
Tom? Wasn't Tom have to be in like your top 8 or some shit like that? So you have Brian up there. If it's top 8, you have Brian, Chris, Theo, the Rogan, all my boys. So, but that's why the Fight Companion works is because we're all friends and there's no agenda and there's no producer in your ear saying, make sure you talk about this, make sure you cover this. So when someone wants to recreate the kind of the fabric of that show, and this is the call I got 2 weeks ago. Okay, so we're thinking companion style. It's you, Mike Tyson. I think originally told me The Game and Kevin Garnett. I go, very cool. But if you think this is going to be similar to what I do, there's one slight problem. I don't know them. And they don't know each other really. They might have done shows together, like interview shows, or they might have hung out at a club before, but they're not all good buddies. So I have no idea what the chemistry is going to be like. So you can't I wouldn't call it companion, just call it the Super Bowl, watch party, something like that. But to call it companion, you're missing the secret sauce, man. So they okay, cool, let us think on it. But we knew Tyson was involved, and I've worked with Tyson. I love Tyson. I think Tyson is a wild card, meaning you don't know what you're going to get. And I think that's what makes it fun. I think, especially for me, because I generally know what I'm going to get. I really do. I generally know kind of when it's my Fight Companion, my shows, I typically know exactly what I'm going to get. So I knew Mike Tyson was involved, and then they're looking for another guy. And I said, hey, if you need a guy that can speak well and I have a relationship with and I know I get along with and we have good chemistry, Daniel Cormier could be cool. He's doing the pay-per-view the night before, and they said, let's reach out to him. And then I texted DC and said, do not leave me hanging, man. I need you. And he answered the call, and he came. And he's my absolute, one of my favorite people on the freaking planet. And, he's crushing it, man. DC is absolutely crushing it. And then when we got there, they go, all right, there's going to be a 4th guy. And in my head, I'm like, here we go. You guys aren't listening to your boy. You can't just throw in a guy and then expect magic. And they go, it's Brandon Marshall. Well, they lucked out on that because me and Brandon have worked together because I don't know if he's still with Showtime, but Brandon and I have worked together multiple times when we were both with Showtime. I'm familiar with Brandon Marshall. As far as a football player goes, he's the closest thing to kind of what I do. He has a huge podcast, speaks his truth. He's just such a, I'm talking about, maybe I'm biased because he's a Bronco great, but I think he's a Hall of Famer. He's a monster, 1st-round draft pick. He was the same class as me. But me and Brandon have a relationship. So Brandon being there, I felt way more comfortable. But again, so this thing, going back to this being the most Hollywood thing ever done, it's at Lenny Kravitz's house, one of his houses that he owns. It's a $45 million house that they rented out from Lenny Kravitz. That picture right there, that is the backyard. That's the backyard / living room / living quarters, kitchen. So it all opens up, and then it's in the hills of Hollywood and overlooks all of LA. Anyone that says money don't buy happiness hasn't seen that view. It's nutsos. So, it's like they roped off where we're doing the show, and then behind us is just, a freaking nightclub thing. It's just, they have this crazy sushi being served. They have all the drinks in the world being served. And, I had anxiety going into it because, again, this isn't my thing. It's not my crew. It's not my staff. I know DC's there, who I know really well. Me and B. Marsh are boys, but we haven't done something like this. And then obviously Mike Tyson's the kind of the curveball. You never know what you're going to get. And he was great, man. B. Marshall was drinking the tequila. He was the one who was kind of the curveball. He was testing everyone. I mean, dude, because what they did is they had guests just sporadically pop in. So you had the NASCAR drivers, Bubba Wallace and Jed Bush, I think it is, popped up. You had Kyle Busch. Yeah, I want to say Jed Bush. I think that's a politician. But you had Kyle Busch. You had these TikTok influencers where I'm just old, man. They'd bring these TikTokers in, and I have no clue who they are. I'm talking, I've never seen them ever in my life. So it was interesting. It was way different than anything I do, but I had so much fun because it was the unknown. And it was completely different than what I do. But Brandon Marshall, I'm talking, when we got there, he tested Mike Tyson. I think he's trying to box Mike Tyson. He tried grappling with DC and boxed with DC. Teofimo Lopez was there. He tried boxing Teofimo. Dude, he tried. You have guests coming, and I can see out of my corner of my eye people come through the door because the door was there, so I could see people coming. And this guy walks in, and I look at him and go, you do not want them problems. So this guy walks in, and in my head, I'm like, that looks like Jiri, the light heavyweight.
Prochazka?
Yeah, I'm like, that looks like Jiri. And then DC, I bump DC because we're on air, so I go, that looks like Jiri, dude. And DC goes, God, it does. I go, it looks like Jiri if he's a 24-hour fitness trainer because he's been like these short shorts and a black. He looked like Brad Pitt off that movie where he's a trainer, and I think George Clooney's it. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Burn After Reading. He looks identical to Brad Pitt from Burn After Reading. He's dressed like that. I'm like, who comes to a Hollywood party dressed like that? And the other thing is he's tall, but he's real thin, dude. That's exactly that's how he showed up at the party. Minus the headphones. That's exactly how Jiri's dressed in all black. That's his thing. He's not from here. He looked phenomenal. His hair's dope. But so I'm like, yeah, he looks like a 24-hour fitness Jiri version. And then DC's like, no, dude, that's him. And then in my ear, like, hey, Jiri is joining the show. I'm like, oh shit. I go, DC, that's him, man. And he sits down. I go, dude, how much I'm talking the boy's in shape. I go, how much do you weigh, man? He goes, 215. I said, oh, you're a middleweight, dog. And DC's like, dude, if I walked, the night before the fight, I'd walk at 215 to fight at 205. He's like, and it's a struggle for me for that guy. He can just eat normal and do this. He's 215. I'm like, yo, he's a middleweight all day. Him versus Izzy would be a phenomenal fight. And this is going back to Izzy. I don't know what's left for Izzy at middleweight. He's too dominant. There's not a man on this planet who's going to beat him at middleweight. I think y'all must have forgot that how fucking good Izzy is. He's the best we have to offer in the UFC. It's him or Jon Jones, whatever you want to do with it. But as far as technique-wise goes, dominance-wise, there's nobody better than Izzy. He's the biggest star outside Conor McGregor. Hands down. Not even close. But at middleweight, there's not a lot for him, right? I bet Jared Cannonier's next. That's a very tough night in the office for Jared Cannonier. He's beat everybody else. I do think, in a world that if Jiri would have beat Glover Teixeira, and I think this is where Izzy's team made a mistake. In hindsight, it's easy to say now because remember, I thought Izzy was going to light Jan up. But Jan decided to grapple him, walking at 230-ish, 240 pounds. Size made all the difference. It wasn't even technical. He just, it wasn't even that exciting. But it was on the feet. Izzy lit his ass up, right? So I do think if he still wants to pursue that dream of being the 205 champ, there's a way to do it. I do think it's the best route for Izzy. But you got to have the right dance partner. You can't have a guy who's just going to try and grapple you because that's not what you want to do. Now, so if I'm Izzy, I don't want to get the light heavyweight belt and defend it a million times because it's all about matchups. So if you look at if Yuri were to win, Yuri versus Izzy is a phenomenal fight. Hate to tell you guys too, and I just saw the fucking guy yesterday, so bring the smoke if you want it. Your boy's here for it, like brisket, son, in Dallas. Yuri is not that much bigger than Izzy. I would say Izzy's a longer human being. He's just Izzy's a big dude, man. If you go back to the food truck, when the first thing I said when I saw Izzy, I'm like, holy shit, dude, you're big. I'm telling you, dude. Everyone thinks I'm too light in the ass, way too light in the ass for Jon Jones. I'm not that small, man. And this is me, like I can put on weight if I have to. So I think there you see Yuri, and he's Shredville, but he's 215. He's not that much bigger than Izzy. So if he were to become champ, I think if I'm Izzy's team, we can keep beating guys up at middleweight and set the record. And he should have wore that outfit.
That's cool.
He looks fly. Dude, you see him like, oh, that's a savage. That's a fucking Spartan from the movie 300. If they redo 300, or if they call it like 302, because they've done 2 now, they do 302. He's not casted, and I have no fucking clue. But Yuri's not a huge guy. That's him there. That's in front of the house. That's his outfit. That's his outfit.
Yep, that's pretty.
Yeah, he's got personal train the shit out of you. He's gonna get you in shape, man. He's gonna get on the Stairmaster, motivate you. Do some hip thrust and shit. Look at his outfit. So I didn't know it was him. I don't know. But the point is, if he were to become, don't they look identical? If he becomes champ, I didn't know. Oh no, that's not there.
Different day.
Yeah, that's different. But if Yuri becomes champ in a world, I think Izzy can line up better against Yuri, because Yuri's not going to try and grapple his ass. He's not. So I do think that if that's what Izzy wants to do, you should root pretty hard for Yuri against Glover. Because again, it's all about matchups. If Izzy wants to take that next step and become a 2-division champion, which I think is where the money's at, the stardom's at, because him just sitting around beating up the likes of Jared Cannonier or, these other guys he's already beat up, doesn't do a lot for me. It doesn't. I don't think it does a lot for Izzy. I think, he can get Anderson Silva's record for most title defenses, and if that's what he wants to do, great. But as far as being a straight up superstar, which he is now, but I'm talking about putting some jet fuel in that pack that he's on. I think the way to do that is to chase that light heavyweight belt, but it has to be the right matchup, and Yuri would be the right matchup. Now, Yuri can grapple, but Yuri is a very non-traditional, wild man. He's a wild boy, and he's very, very good at it. But again, it's about matchup. So if Yuri doesn't beat Glover Teixeira, Izzy just needs to stay at middleweight, because Glover, if you thought Jan could grapple, Glover can fucking grapple. And that makes no sense for Izzy to do that again. But if Yuri wins, I would love to see Izzy, talk some smack and get up there, man. I really do think that's the next evolution of the Stylebender. Because at middleweight, are you guys going to give out, let's say, what is it, damn near $80 now to watch him versus Jared Cannonier, or a rematch against Whittaker, or, some of these other guys, Vittori, Paulo Costa, all that stuff? Not really. It's going to do well, but as far as like Sizzler numbers, I think Izzy's going to have to take that chance again. I'm curious where he's at mentally about chasing that dragon and that 205 light heavyweight belt. But if Yuri gets it, hopefully his team's on the same parallel thinking, all right, Yuri is a guy that's going to stand with us. Technically, we're way better striking, but Yuri's such a madman. And that goes back to Brandon Marshall being 7 shots deep with tequila and harassing Mike Tyson. You see Mike Tyson there about to light him up. And then he goes to do it to Yuri, and Brandon don't know who he is. I go, dude, look at his fucking haircut. You want to mess with that guy? Look at his fucking hair. He's built like a goddamn Mongol, dude. And he's like, no, this guy. I'm like, hold up. And I told Brandon, I said this on air, I go, that's your next light heavyweight champ. And then Yuri's like, you think I win? I'm like, I guarantee you win, dude. Which is a little aggressive. I had some drinks, okay? But I do think he is he is my favorite light heavyweight. So I want to see him win. So obviously I'm super biased. But I do think he wins, which would be great for Izzy. So, Brandon Marshall messing with that guy, I was like, he's not the one, dude. He does flying knees. He's a wild boy. He's not gonna just throw jabs and shit at you. Like, that's not the guy to fuck with. And you can tell. I don't think they have it on video, but yeah, but where he comes from, I don't know where he's from. He's not Polish. What is he? Is he Czech? What is he? Is it Czech Republic?
We found out last time. Yep. Czechia.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. This guy's a handful. And we're gonna get him on food truck as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I talked to him this morning. Actually, we're gonna get him on food truck. So Brad Marshall was fun. He was fun. Those shows are crazy, man. It was such a good time. Listen, man, just because the lockdowns are over, people still shopping online. The world has changed, man, and online shopping is a booming. And maybe you're part of that boom and you're selling stuff online and you got a business online and you're savvy with it, but you need to get your stuff out, man. You got to trust people, man. You got to trust people because things are crazy, right? But it's getting less crazy, but you still got this business and you got to ship stuff. And you got to do it with ShipStation because you need ShipStation as a friend if you own a business and you're shipping stuff. All right? You never have to worry about shipping. Again, make the switch to a solution that handles all of your shipping needs quickly. It's affordable. It's painless. All right? ShipStation is already trusted by over 100,000 e-commerce sellers, including your boy here. You can keep track of orders from any sales channel. It's easily find the best shipping carrier with the deeply discounted rates. All right? So you can save time by funneling all your orders in one simple interface, no matter what you're selling, man. All right? Manage every order, Amazon, eBay, Etsy, your own website like thickboy.com from anywhere, even your phone. No more headaches. Quit making things difficult. Use ShipStation. Save money. All right? Save time. Time is money, man. Ship more in less time with ShipStation. Use my offer code SHAUB, SCHAUB, to get a 60-day free trial. That's 2 months free of no hassle, stress-free shipping for your business. Just go to ShipStation.com. Click on the microphone at the top of the page. Type in SHAUB, SCHAUB. ShipStation. Make ship happen. Listen, man, this whole COVID thing probably made you reconsider your life choices, your career choices. You're looking for something, man. You want to change your career, all right? There's never been a better time to become a programmer. And with Code Academy, you can learn to code on your own terms. I come from a family of coders, so I recommend this stuff, man, because they told me it's pretty good. We're living in a fast-changing world. One of the best ways to succeed is learn how to code, man. Everybody needs coders. One of the best ways to succeed is learn how to code, man. Everybody needs a coder. If you got code, you got a job. Try Code Academy today and see where coding can take you. Whether you're starting from scratch or looking to advance, Code Academy can help you reach your coding goals, all right? Over 50 million people already know that Code Academy is the best way to learn code. That's because Code Academy not only teaches you job-ready coding skills, but also helps you build unique projects for your portfolio, earn certificates, even prep for technical interviews, whatever it is, man. Learn at your own pace and get qualified for in-demand jobs. Choose what to learn from building basic websites to AI and everything else you want to do, man. All right, no matter what your experience level. Maybe you're listening, say, I don't know how to code. Learn how to code with Code Academy, dude. All right, we got you, man. Working code in minutes. We got you. Learn coding languages including Python, HTML, CSS, SQL, JavaScript, and so much more. Not sure where to begin? Code Academy will point you in the right direction, what you're looking for. We got you. Get instant feedback. Your code is tested as soon as you submit it, so you always know if you're on the right track. All right? Land your dream job in web development, programming, computer science, data science, tons more. This is the future, baby. Pick up this skill set, man. Let Code Academy help you out. Join over 50 million people. Learn to code with Code Academy. See where coding can take you. Get 15% off your Code Academy Pro membership when you go to codecademy.com. Use the promo code SHAUB, SCHAB. That's promo code SHAUB at codecademy.com to get 15% off Code Academy Pro, the best way to learn to code. CODECADEMY.com. Promo code is SHAUB. But back to the main event. So I rewatched it, and DC called me Sunday morning. Again, I didn't watch it. Oh, you know what? No, not yet. When he called me Sunday morning, I was just getting through Jared Cannonier, Derek Brunson fight. And I was going based off my memory from the fight companion when I was about 8 whiskey doubles deep, which doesn't count. And he goes, hey, am I crazy, man? the social media is saying that Robert Whittaker won that fight. They're all upset about Izzy. And I was like, I didn't want to feel stupid, because DC works a thing as far as, knowing about fighting. Yeah, I don't really, can't carry DC's fucking water cooler, man. He's one of the GOATs, 2-time, world champion, different weight divisions, and Olympian, and coaches, and he's from AKA and best friends with Kane, and the list goes on. And I didn't want to seem stupid. I was like, I don't know, man. I was drinking last night. I thought Whittaker did good with the grappling. I'm going to watch. I'll let you know when I see in person. So I watched it. And, I think, when people get really upset and there's an uproar on social media, a lot of it is because I assume people thought this is going to be the best version of Robert Whittaker, and you put money on it. And so when you lose your money, you're pissed, right? And so some of the backlash comes there. But this definitely wasn't like one of those situations where Izzy didn't win the fight. If you go back and watch the fight, first round, especially he drops him, right? Drops him. He's pretty wobbled. So Izzy, clear as day, first round. Second round, if you want to give it to Robert Whittaker because he got his back for 10 seconds, okay, let's give him the second round. Third round, you give Izzy. Fourth round, you give Izzy. Then fifth round's Robert Whittaker all day. So 1 clear as day, 5 clear as day for Robert Whittaker. It's rounds 2, 3, and 4, depending on your judge and how you're going to decide the winner of those fights, especially the second round. That would dictate the entire fight, because I think you would have a hard time giving Robert Whittaker 3 rounds. I'd love to hear kind of the explanation of how you give him 3 rounds. Now, those 2, 3, and 4 are close, but if we're going off of what, especially the judge's main criteria, which is damage done, Izzy definitely did the most damage. If you look at leg kicks and you look at that front lead leg of Robert Whittaker, he also, the head kick, he did block one, but he blocked it with one hand. Anyone who's been in the game long enough, if you block with one hand, A, you have a better chance of breaking your goddamn arm because you need both to support the kick, the force of the kick. B, when it's one hand, the kick still rocks your brain. So Izzy landed, I think, 2 kicks when Robert defended with one hand, and then also the body shot hurt Robert Whittaker. So if you go through complete damage done round by round, I don't know how you don't have Izzy still retaining his title. I don't get the uproar. Again, I think a lot of it is you guys lost money bet on Robert Whittaker, and I get it. That's frustrating. But, to criticize Bisping, go, he's biased. Dude, Bisping's there. Also, Bisping was a middleweight champion of the world. So I know you guys watch a lot of fights, but let's kind of lean into the experts here. Bisping knows what the hell he's doing. He's watched a lot more fights than you. Also has fought in there at the highest level and was a world champion. So from Bisping's perspective, and DC's for that matter, because DC goes, man, I don't get it either. I thought it was pretty clear. It is the upset, best seat in the house. I mean, Bisping had the exact same thoughts. Like, this is a clear as day win for Izzy. He was in my head when I'm going up to interview him. I'm thinking, did Izzy win 3 rounds or 4? Definitely didn't lose more than 3, or definitely, didn't lose more than 2 rounds. I can see them give him the 5th, maybe the 2nd, but even the 2nd's a little dicey. So in the judge's eyes, is it 4 rounds for Izzy or 3? It's like, I knew he won the fight. So yeah, DC backing up what Bisping says. Obviously, Bisping's one thing that makes him great is he's very strong in his opinions, which I love. I hate when people are trying to please both sides. That never works out for anybody. You got to double down on what the fuck you think and what you stand for, especially in today's society. So I think Bisping going hard in the paint and going, this is clear as day. Izzy won this fight 4-1. Tough to disagree with him. But again, I know you guys probably lost money on it, or you love Robert Whittaker. How can you not? The guy's humble even in defeat. So I get it. Or maybe you're not an Izzy fan. So I get it. Now that's real. And your uproar on Twitter will be, it's probably over by now. I bet it was uproar Saturday night. Sunday morning got a little dicey for a few guys. Outside that, over now. That's the way the news cycle works. So no one gives a shit. And when it comes, it's very black and white. Izzy won the fight. So you can cry all you want. Doesn't change anything. Izzy won that fight. I have, I'm fine 3-2. I'm fine with 3-2. 4-1, sure. If you want to just give Robert the last round. All right, he definitely won that last round. There's no argument there. It's that second round, depend, how you view the fight. And then, I guess 3 and 4, it'd be Izzy. It'd be Izzy because the issue too is you have a lot of the boxing commissions, judging these fights. They don't know what the fuck leg kicks are, but in our sport, they're everything. And Izzy really lit up that fucking leg and did the most damage with the kicks, landed the bigger punches, dropped them, had him wobbled with the head kick. But again, if you're a judge and you've never been in there and you see Whittaker block an Izzy head kick with one hand, you think, oh, he defended that. He didn't. That actually rocked that man. The force that kick still gets through with one arm. Anytime a fighter is fighting a guy who can kick, in camp, the number one thing they go over is how to block a kick. Hand up, and then this hand absorbs most of the shot. You're just like this still gets through. This still lands and wobbles the fucking brain for a concussion. And that's how Robert was defending the kicks. It's not the ideal way to do it. To me, that's still a head kick, still causes trauma. So, again, the judges, they've never been in there. I would be willing to imagine none of them's even threw a fucking kick. So you want them to grade Izzy Adesanya, a former world champion kickboxer's kicks? Okay. I might as well fucking decide who wins NASCAR. I don't know shit about NASCAR. I've never done it. I've drove before. I've never competed. You know what I'm saying? So it's a weird correlation that we expect so much out of these judges, especially in an Izzy fight. Now, if it's a grappling boxing fight, yeah, they understand that. But when it comes to kicks and defending kicks, and they think by just blocking with one hand is good enough, it's not. That's still a landed, heavy damage kick, which gives Izzy points in the world of mixed martial arts. So I have it 4-1 Izzy. I'm fine if you want to go 3-2, but Izzy definitely won that fight. He's still your world champion. And again, I don't know. It's no shade on Cannonier. He's a great story, right? You're talking about a heavyweight, light heavyweight. He's been on a tear at middleweight. For Derek Brunson had some big shots, really big shots. That first round, was Derek Brunson all day, and then obviously the elbows is what put Brunson away, blonde hair Brunson away. So he did enough to get a title shot. Does Cannonier have the skills to beat Izzy? Again, tough night. I would assume Izzy's a 3-1 favorite in that fight. So again, Izzy can keep beating up these middleweights and run away with the best middleweight of all time. And you're talking about beating out a guy in Anderson Silva. But I really think the future for Izzy would to be fight at 205 if Jiri wins the light heavyweight strap. And that's your super fight. Super fight. And that is a hell of a matchup. It's exciting. It's going to be a straight up war on the feet. I don't see a lot of grappling in that fight. It makes all the sense in the world. Again, this is all predicated on Jiri winning. If he doesn't, you're not going to see Izzy make the jump because Glover or Jan makes no fucking sense for Izzy. So, your move, Jiri. And I think he would fancy himself in that fight as well. So, I think he would take it. Going to the co-main event, we knew this wouldn't go in the distance. Yeah, it's always there's always a lot of pressure on guys, especially when they're two knockout artists, and that's all they do. If you remember Francis for Derrick Lewis, how we were filming at the Dick for that fight, and it was one of the worst fights in UFC heavyweight history. I think Derrick's back was injured. Francis was, dealing with some issues, so you had a terrible fight. So this one kind of lived up to it because Ty has that thing, the no fucks gene. He has that no matter who he's fighting. The only reason, if you look at my prediction for this fight, I was rooting for Tai Tuivasa. He's one of my favorite human beings in the UFC. He's exactly what the UFC needs. He's exactly what the UFC needs to grow, their exposure and their bandwidth into New Zealand, Australia. He represents that community to the fullest. Tai Tuivasa's become a professional, man. I think he was the guy that, would drink and do his thing, and he's the shoey guy, and he's fun, and he'll win one, lose one, win three, lose one. But as far as being a professional and a world-class athlete, I don't think he took himself serious until this fight, until his almost backs against the wall. You're fighting Derrick Lewis in his hometown, which, before Derrek fought Cyril Gane, he was undefeated in Houston. You don't want to fight Derrick Lewis in Houston. He was a fucking nightmare fighting Houston. But we know now, because Derrick's team has said this, Derrek hates being the main event. He hates dealing with the pressure and the interviews and all that shit, especially in his hometown. So that Cyril Gane fight, he didn't fight like himself. He didn't want to be in there. And I think similar to this, in Houston now, even though it wasn't 5 rounds, which he said was the only issue, I think there's a Houston issue now that he's this famous. I think there's, there's a traffic jam in his brain when he fights at home. And although he did land some huge shots on Tai Tuivasa in that first round, which would put most guys out, Tai Tuivasa didn't go away. And I think that when Derrek realizes that, his one superpower, which is landing those punches, whether it's ground and pound or the right hand on the feet, when that doesn't work, he's kind of screwed. And it didn't work. And he landed shots that normally put 99% of the world out. And Tai Tuivasa just weathered the storm. And he lands that elbow, the KO walked-off home run. And again, on Companion, don't take anything we say on there serious. Matt goes, I think Derrick Lewis, who Matt beat, by the way, in the first round, knocked him out. I think he was Derrick Lewis wanted out. He didn't get knocked out. He just wanted it out. And if you just saw it, you're like, man, that didn't look that bad. Then you see the replay, and you're like, oh, no. It was lights out. Closing time. You know what I'm saying? Closing time. That elbow was filthy. And now Tai Tuivasa, ranked top, you got to put him in top 5. He was 11, beat the number 3 guy, KO, walk-off home run. So for Tai Tuivasa, now it's off to the races. And luckily for him, he's finally realizing his potential. I think he actually believes in himself for the first time. And now you have a dangerous, dangerous man. Tai Tuivasa, I think he's training right, eating right. He looks slimmer. He looks more professional. He's fighting smarter. He knows he can weather the storm because he's eaten Derrick Lewis's best shots and still got the job done. So I feel sorry who has to fight Tai Tuivasa next, because now you're getting Tai Tuivasa 2.0. 2.0 meaning he's fighting and training like a professional now. So he's going to be a tough character to beat. Who's next for him? I would assume they put him in the top 5. I don't think he jumps right to 3, because if you look at the ratings, the rankings, so you got Volkov, who he beat. Volkov, who Derrick Lewis beat, right? Which doesn't always mean that he would beat Tai Tuivasa, but still, I would assume that Curtis Blades jumps up to 3, and I would assume Tai Tuivasa jumps up to 4, and Derrick Lewis goes to 5. Does that make sense? I assume Derrick Lewis jumps down 2 to I bet he drops from 3, and I bet he doesn't go any lower than 7. Derrick's still going to be ranked in the top 7, but I bet they're going to put him somewhere between 5 and 7. You put Tai Tuivasa at 4, Curtis Blades at 3. You got Stipe and Cyril Gane there. And obviously you have your champ up top who's figuring things out with the UFC brass and Francis Ngannou. So, a Tai Tuivasa Francis fight is fun as fuck. I don't know what they're doing with Stipe. Obviously the rumors are Jon Jones, Stipe. It's a bit of a problem for Tai. I guess he could wait it out, and get the winner of the next Curtis Blades fight, because Curtis Blades is fighting soon. So Curtis Blades ties an interesting fight. As far as those top guys go, besides Cyril Gane, I actually think Tai matches up better with Francis than he does anybody else in the top 5. Cyril Gane's going to be a tough night in the office for him. The footwork, he doesn't play the game, the exchange. Stipe, I think, gets Jon Jones. Derrick Lewis, obviously, what happened there. Curtis Blades or Volkov, depending on what Volkov we get, I just think, Curtis Blades a tough night in the office for Tai. But he has a fight, so we don't have to worry about it right now. But it's all about matchups. And, Mitrione said it best, when you go to heavyweight, and I said, isn't it crazy? He's going to jump up the, top 5 after beat the number 3 guy. And Matt goes, you know this better than anybody. When it comes to heavyweights, 1 through 15, it's all about styles, who lands first. So he goes, I never put too much weight into a guy being ranked 2, 7, 10, 13. Anybody can beat anybody if they land first. He's not lying. Legit point. As far as your MVP of that main event or the main card, it'd have to be Tai Tuivasa. Catapult himself into stardom. And I think more people, I'm curious what the pay-per-view numbers were, but, you know, Tai Tuivasa, and he has his own, like, shoey device now they're selling. Mm-hmm. He had Dana White do it with him, which is brilliant. Shoey Vasa, which we need to get one here, Big Tai. So Shoey Vasa and the Nelk Boys, Steve will do it. There you go. That's the way to do it. What shoe is that?
It's his own signature.
Oh, it's like a model of a shoe.
I'll show you right now. That's one of the current events. This right here.
It's like
a plastic thing that you can put bottles in or cans in. So it's more like a sanitary kind of shoey.
Dude, you know what?
With a lever.
You know what? Buy one right now, Chin. I'll put it back there. I'll replace the Yeezy and put Tai Tuivasa's product right there. Yeah, buy one right now for me. Get it set.
I'll have it in the cart.
Thank you, sir. Mm-hmm. I'll give you my info, my credit card when we need to after this. That'd be dope. Put the shoey back there. Yeah. Shout out Tai Tuivasa. Hopefully they sell 1 million of those at least. But that has to be your MVP, man. Has to. Then Bobby Green. I mean, Jesus Christ, did he look good? Always a fan of his. And then Andre Arlovski. What the fuck? That guy still, they keep giving these young up-and-comers, trying to get him out of it. The guy will not leave. You know what he is he's Will Ferrell from Austin Powers. You remember they keep trying to kill him? He just won't leave. Remember they put him down there and he's like, no, not fire. And he just can't kill him. That's fucking Andre Arlovski, man. They keep tossing these young guys, like, all right, this is the guy to beat him. He keeps fucking beating them. And, you know, he's not knocking him out or anything like that, but he's just such a vet. You know, these young guys don't have the skill set or the experience to beat him. You know, he won a split decision. So, shout out to Andre Arlovski, man. Again, one of my favorite people to ever compete. I absolutely love Andre Arlovski, training partner. Obviously, I fought him. I beat him. Not a big deal. But they did give him the split decision in Vancouver, which is a complete robbery. Some people think one of the worst decisions of all time. Okay. It was actually a really boring fight. But what can you do? We're friends, and we train together, and he knew exactly what I was going to do. I knew exactly what he was going to do, and I did take him down, so that's cool. Anyways, and then Casey O'Neill got it done. She's a little badass. You're following the women's flyweight division. She's kind of the next thing, man. She got done split decision, and Roxanne Modafferi had that was her send-off. They gave her Casey O'Neill in her send-off fight, and if you know anything about fighting, Casey O'Neill wasn't the ideal matchup for your ride off into the sun retirement fight. Casey O'Neill is the next big thing in the women's flyweight division. She's a fucking savage. So she said, cool, enjoy your retirement with this loss. Even though it was split decisions. So Roxanne, it's tough as they come, man, but you ain't beating Casey O'Neill. She's a little beast. So yeah, man, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the fights. You know, I get it. As far as being upset about the decision. Whenever there's a fight of this magnitude and your guy doesn't win, there's going to be an uproar, but you're just yelling into the ether. Nothing's going to change, so shut up. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter, does it? Izzy won. It's in the books. It's in the history books. It doesn't matter. You get on social media, it doesn't matter. It's in the books. It's over. Cry all you want. It's tough. I get it, because Robert Whittaker is such a fucking nice guy, and his nickname's Bobby Knuckles, and he's fully redeemed himself and came back after 3 wins, and you thought he was going to get it done. Now, I do agree with those are the 2 best middleweights on the planet. Those are the 2 best. We've seen him fight twice now. I guess if Robert Whittaker wants to, he could, work his way back up, to get a 3rd shot after you're 0-2 against a guy. Historically, the UFC really doesn't fuck with that, but they might do it. But it's a weird road for Robert Whittaker, and I got to be honest, I don't think he ever beats Izzy. I think Izzy is 1A, and the rest of the people are all the way down at a certain level. But Robert Whittaker is the best middleweight. I would say he's the best middleweight, not named Israel Adesanya. So what would I do if I'm Robert Whittaker? Thank you guys for asking. I would like to tell you. Well, if you remember, Robert Whittaker used to fight at 170. Robert Whittaker's not a big middleweight. That reach advantage that Izzy has is a huge issue for him. If you see Robert Whittaker, he missed a million freaking punches. The distance, the reach is an issue for him. Well, it wouldn't be an issue at welterweight at 170. I think if he could cut back down to 170, and I know, he's a better fighter at 85, but in this point in his career, you are talking about a completely different animal, a much better, more skilled fighter. Cerebrally, his IQ is much higher too, just through experience and fighting the best we have to offer at middleweight. And he was your middleweight champion. So if he can take that same swagger, cut down to 70, Kamaru Usman doesn't really have guys to fight either. So you have a bit of a problem here, don't you? So if I'm Whittaker's team, I'm looking at cutting to 70 and doing a super fight against Kamaru Usman. You look at the division at 170, again, if we're trying to sell pay-per-views here, and you're a businessman, you own the UFC, I would love Izzy to go up to 205 if Jiri wins. That makes sense. And then also Robert Whittaker, who's he going to fight again, man? Who do you guys want to see him fight? He's kind of been there. I don't know if, he gets his rocks off fighting these guys who are next in line. So why not cut to 70? Why not challenge and become another world champion at welterweight against Kamaru Usman? Because Kamaru Usman versus Whittaker is a hell of a freaking matchup, man. It's a hell of a matchup. Because again, Robert can fucking wrestle, dude. Kamaru can freaking wrestle. I'd say Whittaker has more power, better footwork. Obviously, stamina's not an issue for him. I think 170 at Whittaker makes a ton of sense. You give him, I would just give him the straight title shot, being who he is and the body of work he's done at middleweight. But if you want to give him a warm-up, go ahead and give him a warm-up. Give him a Jorge Masvidal. Give him a Vicente Luque. That'd be fun. Give him a Gilbert Burns, even though, I know Gilbert's fighting, Khamzat soon. So, but I'm just saying, I'm listing off the potential opponents he could fight and he would probably beat. So if you want to give him a warm-up at 70, see how the cut goes, because he probably forgets how to cut that weight, let him do that, and give him a Gilbert, give him a Vicente Luque, a Muhammad, a Jorge Masvidal. Him and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson obviously have a history. Wonderboy beat him. I think it was his last fight at 170, if the old memory bank serves me right. A Michael Chiesa, a Sean Brady would be fun. A Neil Magny would be fun. That's if you want to give him a warm-up. I don't think he needs it. I think his body of work at 85, nobody's going to complain if you give him a title shot at 170, especially looking at the queue. And you got to do it fairly soon because we can only hold off Khamzat so long because the Khamzat train is coming. And once he beats Gilbert Burns, who's ranked number 2, and I do think he beats him, and I hate that matchup for Gilbert. Once he does beat Gilbert Burns, he's undeniable. There's nothing else we can fucking do. It's going to be the Khamzat era. I'm not saying Khamzat beats Usman right now. We're going to find a shit ton about Khamzat when he fights, at the world championship level when he fights Gilbert Burns. Now, if he starches Gilbert Burns, if he mollywops Gilbert Burns, it's off to the fucking races. So we got to get Whittaker in there now because that Khamzat train is fucking coming. And listen, maybe it's just hype, but its proof is in the pudding. You look at his fights, he's had no issues. What he did to Jingalang, or the fuck his name is, dude, he beat the shit out of him. And according to his camp, people I have all the respect for in the world, according to Alexander Gustafsson, we haven't seen this is just the tip of the iceberg of how talented Khamzat is. And that's fucking scary. So I'm Robert Whittaker's team. Let's go and get in the queue right now. Let's go and get in that queue right now and fight for the title right now. And then if the Khamzat train does come and you have to defend your belt, if you do beat Kamaru, great. But that Khamzat train's coming. So we got to get moving, man. You don't want to wait and have to fight that fucking demon. You just don't. Nobody wants to fight Khamzat. I don't think Kamaru does. And the thing is if I'm ranked, top 10, I'm saying this, I'm leaning on the rankings going, he's 11. I'm not fighting him, but we all know why you're not fighting him. The Khamzat train's fucking coming. It's undeniable. It's scary. And we're getting a lot of questions answered very soon when he fights Gilbert Burns. And I have a good idea that that's not going to go great for Gilbert Burns. Dude, when I say I'm on Khamzat's, and you know his nuts are hairy. When I say I'm on his nuts, you think Khamzat's using manscaped.com promo code CFC for 20% off? Not a chance. He keeps it hairy. He keeps it hairy like his chest, dog. So that Khamzat train's coming. So if I'm Whittaker's team, it's time to move. That Khamzat train's coming, man. And I don't see anybody beating him. I'm not saying he steamrolls through Kamaru right now, but with Kamaru's injuries, I don't know how much Kamaru has. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I know Khamzat obviously had the COVID shit, but other than that, I don't know who beats him. I'm looking at the rankings right now. He'd be favored over everybody. That's what's scary. I know you love him too, Chen.
Yeah, now I do. I didn't believe it at first. Well, I didn't know. I needed more proof, but that Julian Lane fight, dude, that was just insane.
You just mollywops dudes.
Talked.
They're nuts. It's fucking. We haven't seen someone like this in a very, very long time. This dominant. Mm-hmm. You know, you're like in very Khabib-ish, but he has more power in his hands.
And he's exciting. And his Khabib sometimes not that exciting, but
and his mentality, scary shit.
Yeah.
So again, if I'm Robert Whittaker's team, and you know we have a inclination, we can make 70 and fight Kamaru, which would be a huge fight. Kamaru's the number one pound for pound fighter on the roster, and he's looking for a formidable foe. If Robert Whittaker's not a bad one, it's a huge name. He's a huge draw, you know. Mm-hmm. And again, if I'm Kamaru's team, if I'm Izzy's team, Robert Whittaker's team, we're looking how to make big bucks, how to get these pay-per-views. All those make sense. Because if we stay in our current division and we just keep beating these guys that we've beat and there's no new blood, I don't know what it does for you. I know it sets records and contractually you're going to get your pay and stuff like that, but to get to that fuck you money, which only a handful of guys ever got in the UFC, these are the necessary steps. And that's why I want this for these guys. But I would bet my bottom fucking dollar that Khamzat is going to be running that fucking division for quite some time. Could be off. I'm telling you, man. That guy's fucking scary. So if I'm Robert, we're getting over there like now. Let him fight. I'm telling you, dude. They give him Gilbert. There's nowhere else for him to go. There's nowhere else to go. And he could do Kamaru Colby again. Okay, for a third time. Okay, all right. I guess we'll do that again. But as far as like getting our money, something fresh, something new, Robert Whittaker makes sense. Khamzat, it's just a matter of time. Khamzat beats the number 2 guy, and if he just mops the floor with him, UFC's been looking for something like this since Conor. And to me, he's scarier, man. He's way scarier.
Yeah.
Just his mentality, like, ooh, this guy was born to fucking fight.
Yeah.
And then, listen, Alexander's team out there in Sweden that he trains with, and when Gustafsson goes, I'm telling you, dude, you should see this guy in practice. His coaches told me, you haven't seen shit, man. You haven't seen anything. Like what he's doing to people, this is nothing. This guy's good everywhere. We've never seen him lose a round in practice. We toss him in there against everybody. I'm not going to call guys out, but you look at the names of that camp, bigger guys, bigger divisions, world-class strikers, former world champions, monsters. Again, never lost a round according to this team in practice. We haven't seen shit. And remember, you hear this, and listen, if he was just some podunk team, you're like, okay, who gives a shit? But when you're talking about that team out in Sweden, if you remember, we heard the same stories about AK with Khabib. Like when DC and Josh Thompson the captain of AK, he's like, oh, dude, you haven't seen shit. And Josh Thompson and DC say the same thing about Homeboy. Khabib's best friend he grew up with.
Oh, Islam
Makhachev. Same thing. Now they're saying with Makhachev that you haven't seen his full potential because he isn't used to the bright lights yet. He needs more experience. The lights can't get bright enough from Khamzat. That's what's fucking scary. They keep trying to scare this kid and nothing's. He's a goddamn serial killer. He's a sociopath. Good luck, dude. Good luck. Make the lights as bright as you want. Put him as main event. This kid doesn't give a shit about any of that. He stays hairy, stays trained. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's it, man.
Even remember Jack Hermanson who just lost to Sean Strickland? He's a 185er. They did that one-off wrestling match together with Khamzat. He said he couldn't believe the strength of Khamzat. Like, that's how crazy strong he is.
I love this shit, man. I love when a guy's when you have an outlier amongst outliers. You know what I'm saying? Like, Hermanson's a fucking outlier. That guy's a savage. The Joker, he's no punk. And when he goes, dude, this dude's out of control.
Yeah.
You're like, really? I love this stuff. The outliers of all outliers. Khamzat unimpressed with Israel Adesanya, UFC 270. Easy money for him.
So this is what he wrote.
Stylebender, easy money for me. 0 wrestling, 1 round. I'm going to kill him.
Yeah.
Notice how you use the words kill him. And then what's Izzy say?
I'll play it for you real quick.
Oh, wow.
He just like, what?
Izzy's comeback. Yeah. Izzy, as far as the mic goes. Did you see Izzy's Valentine post to Jon Jones?
Yeah, I'll have that too.
So you like fresh meat. Another fighter not in your division named Khamzat's been tweeting at you this fight.
Has he?
He said,
Has
easy
he?
money for me, 0 wrestling, 1 round, I'm going to kill him.
Okay.
Izzy just. That's a dope response.
Yeah, if I'm Izzy too, it's like,
Yeah.
I just defend my world championship, man. This guy's, again, we can only, like, and again, I love Izzy. And Izzy Khamzat's a different story. I'm not even getting into that. But these top dogs, they can do that right now. Right now, Khamzat's 11, hasn't had like a huge win over a big-time fighter yet. But I'm telling you, man, when that Gilbert Burns fight goes down and he starches Gilbert Burns, then these guys are going to be forced to engage with Khamzat, and it's off to the races. He's going to be a huge fucking star. Huge star. My boy Mike, the head of Thick Boy Productions, he collects cards. He's a nerd. He collects cards. He has that Khamzat card, and I think he has that rookie card. It's worth like fucking $8,000.
What?
He's all, we gotta get Khamzat on food truck and then sign my card.
That'd be dope if he came on food truck. I don't
That's
know.
the thing about Khamzat. You don't see him in a lot of interviews.
Nah.
If he's out here, dude, whatever it takes to get him here, I'm down.
And he speaks just enough English where he can do it.
Oh, dude, I don't give a fuck about his English. I'm sure it's, worthy. I'm sure it's decent. But, we've had guys that don't speak English before. It's a tough go with their English, and that's fine. But with him, it's just scary.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. Scary.
Even his little lip thing, little scar there, that just adds so much more like scariness
Oh,
to
he
his
looks like the
look.
fucking serial killer off Hannibal. If you remember.
Oh, yeah.
The Red Dragon, part 3. He's that guy. Now, here's Izzy.
This is
Again,
such a crazy post, dude.
Dude, so John is my age, right? I fancy myself pretty good at social media. I post and ghost. I'm one of the best to do it, post and ghost. I see nothing of your opinions for a reason. But same with like when Dana was going with Jake Paul. Listen, man, and Izzy's, he's a social media master. And, he has his YouTube page, which he fucking crushes. And, he's into anime, he's into social media, and he'll run with these memes, and it's what they do. If you're above 35, 36, if you're above the age of 36, you just can't engage with these young kids and their social media skills. It's kind of like baseball. There's rules in baseball that we all know. It's unspoken of, but the rules. You don't showboat. You don't do stuff like that. And a lot of fighters, there's unspoken rules. And these young kids, dude, they're vaping. They're fucking watching Euphoria. You know what I'm saying? My class kid, we came on Saved by the Bell. I have a whole bit on it in my act, but it's like we came up on Saved by the Bell, man. The biggest problem was Jesse taking caffeine pills. These younger kids, and we knew, the Mr. Spelding, and they talked about their homework, and you would see them study for a test. And Euphoria, you ever seen anybody in class ever? Name one teacher. They're just fucking and smoking and tying needles and doing drug deals and driving drunk and insane shit. The point is there's no filter with these young kids, and on social media, they don't abide by the same rules that the respect we grew up on. If you look at shit talking, even 5 years ago, we've really kind of kicked the trend off. But let's say 8 years ago, shit talking between guys was, we kept it inside the ring, inside the octagon. These young kids, man, there is no filter. So when Dana want to talk shit up to Jake Paul, I'm like, oh, dude. And then again, I told you guys, when you find out what Dana did, you're going to love him even more like I do. But when you're doing the video, you have the dad angle and there's no graphics and it's not edited and, he's just speaking into it. You're like, okay. And he's calling Jake Paul out and Jake Paul's on vacation. Well, the way it works, same thing with me. I have a crew with me. So if I need to put something out, my team will edit, get graphics. We have fucking subtitles so you know exactly what's going on. And Jake Paul is 30,000 times better than me at this shit. So he sees that shitty video from Dana talking all the shit. You put your toe in the wrong pool, man, and you're not going to win that war. And then the kid has all the money in the world and then makes a legit rap video and hires actors that look like you, write the fucking verse, just talking shit. It's the same thing with Jon Jones. He's my age, man. Granted, he's the GOAT and you want to talk shit to guys. But the problem is Jon's not fighting Izzy is. And then Izzy's younger and he fancies himself a social media wizard. You talk shit, you go bad on Izzy, he's like an elephant. And forget, this Valentine's Day post is so disrespectful. It's hilarious and all is fair in love and war. They're not even at war. I don't know if these guys ever fight each other. Now, if going back to what I said earlier, if Izzy does beat Jiri, if Jiri gets the title and Jiri versus Izzy makes sense, and Izzy were to beat Jiri, then I think this strikes back up. But all the animosity Jon's going to have, I mean, dude, it says, for those of you listening, it's a post from Izzy. This is February 3rd, 6:14 p.m. at night.
Around 13th.
What?
13th.
February 13th at 6:14 p.m. at night. People are having dinner. This is family dinner time. But you want to fuck with these young bucks? This is what you get, y'all. He put, this is at Stylebender, put, Happy Valentine's Day. Now remember, Jon has a fiance, kids, probably, went out and bought a, Gucci purse, some shit for his girl and flowers and shit, and then decided to get on his phone. And then you get this from a guy that just won the biggest fight of his life. Happy Valentine's Day, heart emoji, heart emoji. It's the thought that counts. XO. Like, oh, that's nice of him. And then it shows a gentleman that looks like Jon Jones wrapping his hands and says, Jon Jones wrapping a Valentine's Day gift for his fiance. And this is after the guy's accused of domestic violence against his wife. Welcome to the shit show. Come on down. It's just like the savage post, dude. Savage. This can't be fun. And then Jon Jones just giving these young bucks all the material in the world. He's making it easy for him to fire off this shit. I don't know why they play this game. I would just keep it within the confines of fighting. You don't want to go personal. These guys go personal.
Yeah.
Think about fucking Jake Paul talking about hookers and sex tape and like all Dana's dirt. These kids don't give a fuck, dude. They're watching Euphoria. They're sucking each other off. There's meth. There's fucking heroin. They're making drug deals.
Drug deals.
What else you got?
Do you think, since Jon Jones and Israel, they're both professionals, right? If they see each other in the street, do you think it goes down?
I think Izzy would be on guard, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I do think that when you go this personal, I truly believe this. I think if you're going to go this personal, this goes for any field, fighting, football, comedy, podcasting, real estate agent, whatever it is. If you're going to go personal, when you see that person, you got to keep that same energy. And if a fisticuff happens to break out, you should expect that. Because if you're going to go this hard on somebody's personal life, to me, I get it. I enjoy it. I'm here for the shit show. But if this was me and someone did that to me, when I see you, it's not all good.
Yeah.
We're not professionals. You've crossed the line. And I'm going to say something, I'm probably going to hit you. Like, this isn't all good. Like, you look at like a Diaz brothers, they're cut from that same cloth. You better keep that same energy, man. You talk shit about them, They're fighters. No one's more hardcore than them. You see them, whether they're retired, whether they haven't fought in 10 years, 5 years, whether they just fought. You see them, you better keep that same you better be on guard, man. You better keep that same energy. So I do think that's where there's a little bit of a disassociation with the younger crowd that wants to do this social media stuff and they want to clown these guys on social media. If you fuck with the wrong guy, and John's the wrong guy to fuck
That's
with.
what I'm thinking.
When you see him, you have to keep the same energy. And it's going to be a tough night in the office for you.
On the street, too.
And same with like Jake learned the hard way, right? Because in his world, him and his brother were flying in for the press conference with Showtime. I know this, right? So at the time I worked the fight, I was working for Showtime. And a month prior, they're flying to, I think, Florida, Miami, to do the press conference. And Jake and Logan came in on a helicopter. Baller move again. These fucking kids, man. Heroin, euphoria, doping, smoking, sucking, dipping, drinking, They're wild, man. And they're going to do whatever it takes to get likes and views and go viral by any means necessary. That's why they're so famous. And Jake learned that, yes, you're in social media and you're a YouTube star, but when you cross into the fight world, remember, these guys, especially a guy like Floyd Mayweather, came from the gutters, man. And if you disrespect the certain guy in this business, there's going to be repercussions. So when they're flying a helicopter to go to the press conference, Jake Paul tells Logan, even before all the shit talk, all that stuff, I'm going to take Floyd's hat. And Logan goes, I feel like it's a bad idea. Logan's older. He's been around a little longer. He goes, I feel like it's a bad idea. And he goes, I wouldn't do that. And Jake goes, no, I'm going to do that. And Logan goes, I wouldn't do that, man. They go through the press conference, talk all that shit. Jake makes it about him. He's talking shit about his shoes because they're untied, which is kind of kiddie to me, but whatever. He's trying to poke the bear. And then they get face to face, and Floyd's like, I'll beat both of you in the same night, which he would. He's like, I'll beat both of you in the same night, whatever the fuck you want to do. And all that's fine. I'll beat you in the ring the same night. Floyd's fucking 44 years old. He's not from this world, this YouTube, euphoria world. So Jake takes Floyd Mayweather's hat. He rips his hat off. And I think in his head, he's like, oh, this will go viral. It's going to be funny. Oh, got your hat. Remember, Jake Grab goes, got your hat. Again, Floyd he's not cut from this cloth where you do this shit just to sell the fight. He finds it very disrespectful. And I'm sure John does too. Then the Diaz brothers do too. I'm sure if you did this to Francis or Yuri or, some of these other guys, you're going to be in trouble, man. Even though Khamzat's younger, you do that to him, he's going to fucking rip your face off. So for Jake, I think he had a fast pass on into the fight world where these guys don't subscribe to your YouTube, doing it to go viral, doing it for the views, and he got straight beat up. Like Floyd's team is like, what? And then jumped him and beat the shit out of him. And Floyd's landing punches. I think Jake's like, holy Jesus, dude, this is good for both of us. Floyd's like, no, it's not. We don't play this game. What you doing, man? I'm 50-0, motherfucker. I'm one of the greatest fighters to ever do it. Some say the best to ever do it. You grab my hat? I don't give a fuck about boxing. I don't give a fuck about commissions and sanctions. We're going to beat the shit out of you, man. So John's more from my world where I get it. There's marketing and selling the fight and you're poking fun at guys. But when you go personal and you want to make it personal, again, this is any field, comedy, whatever it is. You want to go personal. When I see you in that green room, you keep the same energy. It's not all good. I don't do it for the views, the clicks, the likes. I'm not from that culture. That's not what we do, man. So keep the same energy. And I'm sure Izzy's very aware of this. And, Izzy's no punk, but these young guys, they are going to have to answer for a lot of this shit that gets them likes and clicks and stuff like that. You got to keep the same energy. And I don't think society should be mad because I feel if you're going to do this and then Izzy is at dinner and John's at the same restaurant and then John walks up to him and slaps him in the face, that's how it goes. There has to be some consequences. And Izzy should be able to fire back and there should be no lawsuits or anything like that. Because I do think when it comes to baseball, the unspoken rules in fighting, there's unspoken rules Where if there is an engagement like that where someone's hit outside the octagon, you don't press charges, man. This is the game. You don't do that bitch shit. This is the game. It's similar, remember when Conor crossed the line against Khabib? Khabib doesn't play these games. Khabib's from fucking Dagestan. Yeah, he don't give a fuck about this stuff. He barely posts. When he does, it's whatever. He's posting a little more now. I think he has some help, whatever. But again, and Logan Paul, they're at I think Catch, my favorite restaurant in LA. I hate the LA, the Hollywood scene, what celebrity ate there. I don't give a fuck. But as far as food goes and environment and date night spot, there's none better. Like the best steak, the best sushi. It's fantastic. Expensive through the fucking roof. But celebrities want to go there because good vibe. It's right off of, it's down there kind of by the Hollywood Improv area, right? So celebrities are going to gravitate towards that. It's in West Hollywood. So celebrities are going to gravitate towards that. But they had Conor McGregor there, and at the same time Khabib there. And apparently the staff was stressed the fuck out. Not because of Conor, although Conor talks shit and he'll back it up. But Khabib, he doesn't subscribe to this litty world of going viral and doing YouTube. He's going to fuck you up, man. If you talk shit about Dagestan and remember his dad and stuff like that. Again, and Conor knows this. He's not that young. He knows by talking all that shit, if they're in the same vicinity in a mile radius, you better be on guard. I have no problem with that. I don't subscribe to it either. If you go personal, again, you got to keep that same energy, man. If you're going to disrespect guys' family or heritage or country, or family, it's on, dude. This goes beyond fighting. Because man, as much as these guys are professional and get paid to fight, these guys, the reason why they're successful fighters is they're fucking savages, man. And if you're going to disrespect a savage, an outlier in on the streets, you better be ready to go. And that's how it should go.
Conor threw the fucking dolly.
Conor threw the dolly at him. They're doing all that shit, man. And think about the story of Khamzat. He's from that part of the world, even though he's in Sweden. He was 2-0. He was a nobody. And because this is how much of a fucking savage Khamzat is. He's 2-0 at the time. He's nobody. He bought a fucking ticket from Sweden to Dublin and was going to walk into the fucking Lions Den and find Conor and fuck him up. And they got word of it and stopped them at the airport, contained him for a day and sent him back to Sweden. But if they didn't stop him, again, Khamzat's not on Instagram like, all right, we'll see Conor. No. You're talking about real fucking G's here, man. Those are the problems you don't want, dude. I don't get it. And I think that goes for anybody. If it's a hater, if it's, a YouTuber talking shit, you can do that. You can criticize my comedy, my podcasting skills, whatever. But if you go personal and I see you in the street, well, there's going to be repercussions. That's the way the world should work. You just can't fire off at the mouth and not expect consequences. That's how it should work. When you're dealing with outliers, that's how it should work.
I agree, though.
But, it's such a meathead angle. No, it's not. It's the non-bitch angle. It's the non-bitch. Society's too soft, man. There has to be repercussions for your actions. You're talking about the best fighters in the world, and you're disrespecting and making it personal. I don't fuck with that. Never have. Again, if you want to do it, I don't give a fuck what your profession is. If you're gonna talk shit, whether it's a fighter, football player, comic, podcast, or whatever it is, on the streets, man, you go personal, there's gonna be repercussions. And I'm not gonna have my brother film or nothing like that. You're gonna know. That's the way it should go. In all fields of life, everything. If you work at if you work at Starbucks in Calabasas, and the guy in Starbucks in Woodland Hills talking all the shit about your family, and one day you go in there to get your fucking venti coffee, your dark roast coffee, he's making coffee, it's not all good, dude.
There you are.
I don't give a fuck what field you're in. It ain't all good. Now you have to back up all that shit you're talking, man. Oh, and you're going to physically hurt each other? Yeah, dude. Yeah. Because we're human beings. That's what we are. You want to talk all that shit, You gotta be one to back it up, man. That's where I come from. Same thing, you know, if you're driving, you know, people have road rage and the guy wants, you know, family with your kid and the guy's trying to make you crash and stuff. Again, that's why I fuck with Sean Strickland so much. When he had that road rage incident, you know, you're dealing with an outlier. You never know who you're fucking with, man, but you got to pay for your actions. So that guy's fucking with Sean Strickland, one of the baddest men on the planet, who's, you know, some say psychopath. You know what I'm saying? Like that boy is crazy.
Yeah.
And you're gonna cut him off, stuff like that. And then he pulls over and is like, cool, dude. Let's do it old school. No guns, no knives. And what's that guy do? Pulls out a gun.
Oh.
I think he showed him his like holds. He did something. Strickland was like, fuck that.
Yeah, well, good.
But there should, like, I'm cool. I'm old school, man. My favorite show is fucking Yellowstone 1883. I'm fine where if there's a conflict and you're talking all this shit and you want to settle it, I don't want anybody, you know, being, you know, hitting their head on the cement or something like that or getting their face bashed in. I'm not talking about any of that. But if you want to handle it like men, like it's old school, go at it, man. There should be no charges pressed, nothing. I think the world would be a little tight, button up a little tighter if we moved like that. People won't be so free, so easy to fire off a tweet or talk shit or throw out a YouTube comment. Because if on Instagram, if you're a hater and what they should do is go put in your home address or work address. So when you post, we can know exactly where you are. But they don't do that, do they? They hide behind there. Mm-hmm. There's a reason for that. Because because you wouldn't talk like that to that person in real life. Guarantee you wouldn't. I know. But if you did and you're about that life, cool, me too, man. I'm about that life. I have a set of skills that go pretty well with it. So I'm down, dude. But again, that's aggressive bro culture. All right. No. Speaking my truth, man.
It's just respect. And then, by the way, at the very least they could do is unprivate their accounts. I hate when people talk smack and have a private account, or they have like 2 followers because they made an account to talk shit.
But that's why they do it.
And I know. I'm saying, like,
you know what I'm saying? Like you got to hide behind this thing because
I know.
Because if you were at, say, fucking Applebee's with your girl, someone's talking shit about Chin, maybe the audio's fucked up, maybe something happened.
At Applebee's.
Yeah, you're at Applebee's with your girl, full rack of ribs, and she has the fucking awesome blossom, whatever it is. And that same guy wouldn't go up to you and go, "Hey, Chin, that audio fucking sucked, dude."
I wouldn't mind that, but if he's talking shit about my girl or me, then I'd be like, "Get the fuck out of here." We would have to fight.
But I would at least respect him more if that guy who talked shit to you saw you in person and was like, "Hey, Chin, you that guy talking on that was me, dude. Yeah, I fucking hate the audio on that one show. You fucked it up for me, dude."
Yeah.
Cool, man. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And then if we can't figure out through words, then we can do whatever you want, man.
Whatever you want.
If you feel that strong about it, let me know how it goes for you.
At an Applebee's, too.
Yep. Shout out to Applebee's. Are they still around?
I see them around. Yeah. I just
don't
go
like
in.
Applebee's, your Friday night hang or whatever the fuck it was. That was like their slogan. I don't think it's in the pandemic they had to chill out on that Friday night hang thing, right? I don't know what they're doing. I'll tell you what, I've been doing a lot lately. I know we got to get going because I'm firing the kid. I started late because I'm hungover. But I've been on because I'm still on carnivore. Didn't cheat yesterday, even though they had the most ridiculous sushi at this place. Didn't cheat. I was fucking Uber eating fucking Darren Cormier. His team was there and they kept him because I was on the outside as the host. So I had to see everybody. So they couldn't hand the food to DC. This fucking dude ate I'm handing burgers, steak, chicken, snacks, tater tots, drink. I'm like, bro, he's like, you don't mind? I'm like, I don't care, dude. I'm handing you all the food. Wow. I was his Uber Eats. But so being on this the point is being on this carnivore diet, I've really relied on Outback Steakhouse. Because, you don't want to order from fucking Del Frisco's every night. You don't want to be that stupid with your money. Del Frisco's like $100 fucking in Postmates. But Outback, you get their top sirloin cut, it's like $30. Can't be the best beef in the world for you, but fuck, dude. I just get a giant, either like the prime rib or I'll get the ribeye or the top sirloin cut. It's like 14 ounces. That's all I eat. Shout out to Outback, man.
Sounds good. Ribeye. I didn't know that. Oh, not ribeye. They actually have prime rib?
Yeah,
I'd love to get prime rib.
I ordered the prime rib like 2 weeks ago, and they forgot the horseradish sauce, which is the only reason you get it. It's so frustrating. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
You just got to take it.
So we don't really have that much time for current events, right?
Give me like the two best.
Okay, this I thought was awesome because I just saw this. Oh wait, let's go here. Remember you said you showed him the shoes, right?
I want to give him a shoe that represents them. So I came up with this idea. I'm like, can you source this shoe? So these are the shoes I select for
look
you.
at John Anik. Wow,
The
strong
Jordan
move,
1
B.
J Balvin's. They're the most, yes, and to me, these represent you because you got to be the most unique guy in the UFC. So these Jordan 1s represent you, my man.
Bro,
they're fucking fire.
holy
man. I don't have them myself.
I definitely want them now.
These are the sickest fucking shoes I've ever seen.
He wore them to the fights on Saturday.
Yeah, not only did he wear him to the fight, Sports Center picked it up.
What?
And they literally were talking about his shoes. Here.
Holy
How dope is that?
Wow. That's pretty dope. Look at that.
Sorry, ESPN MMA. I thought it was Sports Center.
It says
Still.
ESPN and Sneaker
Sugar.
Center. So it says Sugar Sean MMA rolling up to UFC stand with the J Balvin ones. You
Yeah,
could
it's all
have
about
said
the
who
shoes.
gave them to him. You could have gave me a shout out. I'm the guy that sourced them. I'm the guy that fucking got him the shoes. You could have shouted out your boy. Come on, ESPN. We're friends. I do a huge show for you guys. He goes more pay-per-views. Help a brother out.
But that was dope.
Yeah, I'm going to post them like, wonder where he got him with a face like this.
This is just an update on Francis Ngannou and Dana White. They said that once he comes back from Cameroon, and this is Mark on Monday, they're going to have a dinner and talk. So that's a good step in the direction, right?
Yeah, again, I in a perfect world, I think Dana comes to agreement with Francis and they allow him to fight Tyson Fury next, and they come to agreement and, he can fight Tyson Fury and fight the winner of John versus Stipe. And, it's best for both. If Francis, I would hate if Francis just bounced and was fighting some other organization because I don't want to see him fight anywhere else. Mm-hmm. I don't. So I pray to God they get that deal done.
You want some more?
Is there a really good one? Am I missing anything? Where people are like, how do you not talk about that, Chin?
Well, I mean,
and then you're gonna be at Applebee's and guys are like, fuck you.
You mentioned Jake Paul, and you already talked about the Joe Rogan situation quite a bit. But so there's Jake Paul posting about this on social media
because he sticks up for guys. I love Izzy's take on Rogan too.
Yeah, I had that lined up as well, but
I love it. Oh, did Izzy give Rogan a shout out after he won?
I don't remember that part.
Okay, but the press conference.
I'll just play that first real quick.
I got a piece so bad.
That, what words of advice would you give you around Joe Rogan? There's been a lot of controversy with him.
Oh, Dan was
First
gonna
up,
walk
let me
off?
take this one. Hold up. I'm black. I can take this one. Look.
Okay. What words?
No. There's a lot of cunts in this game. There's a lot of snakes in this game. I've been in this fight game since 2008. And Joe Rogan is one of the nicest, coolest, humble motherfuckers I've had the pleasure of working with. Understand that? Hey, it's just, fuck the noise, man. You know what they're trying to do. You can't control the man, and he's got the biggest platform in the world right now. So that's my nigga, Joe Rogan. Fuck the noise.
I fucking love Izzy, man.
That's the name.
Facts.
That was dope.
God damn, I love Izzy. Just when could get any cooler. And then Jake Paul says, so ESPN and Disney pulled Joe Rogan from the UFC broadcast, but stand behind Dana White, who calls reporters douchebags, says female fighters look like male fighters and dress in heels, claims brain damage is part of the gig. You pulled the wrong guy, Mr. Shapak.
So he shouldn't have gone off on Dana White because, all that stuff that happened. But
not my story to tell. But when it comes out, which it's hard to keep anything secret these days. When it comes out what exactly went down with Rogan not working the pay-per-view, you guys will love Rogan more and you will love Dana White even more. So I love Jake Paul and I love that he's, fighting for the fighters' pay and all that stuff and what's right. And, obviously Dana wants to engage in the shit talk. So Jake Paul's never going to stop talking shit, but he's going to have to, again, this is his attempt to go after Dana, but this isn't a Dana thing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when the news comes out, you're going to realize Dana's a fucking gangster. He really is, man. In people that rally behind their friends and don't, scramble like roaches when the light's on your friend, it means the world to me. And Dana's that guy who sticks behind his guys. So, again, you'll never hear me talk shit about Dana again after I heard what he did. And I like that Jake Paul's defending Rogan. Absolutely love that. I love even more what Izzy said, because that's what we need, more people to speak out, and there's nothing better. So shout out to both of them. Jake Paul, don't mind the message. I think his energy is still, going at Dana. The message overall is cool, but Dana's not the enemy here. Dana's not the enemy at all.
Cool.
Is that it?
So we have 2 fights coming up.
Okay.
This one's...
Piss my pants, so that'd be cool on air.
You want to go first or just cover these?
No, let me cover these.
Okay. So this is a fight night. It was supposed to be Rafael Dos Anjos and Fiziev, but Fiziev had visa issues, so they're going to push that one back. So now the new headliner is Johnny Walker versus Jamahal Hill.
I mess with it.
Yeah.
It's a fun one. Ooh, Joaquin Buckley. Alasson's a fantastic fight. Parker Porter's fun.
Yeah.
Jessica Rose Clark's always great. This isn't going to blow your fucking hair back, but Johnny Walker, Jamahal Hill, Johnny Walker, since he decided to do the worm and blow his goddamn shoulder out, he's never been the same, but this is an exciting fight. This is Saturday night on ESPN. Yeah, I'm going to watch the shit out of this. I'll take it. That's a fun fight card. Oh, and then you
finally,
got
BKFC.
Let Me Bang Bro Lane versus Mike Perry.
Yeah.
Enjoy that, Lane. Enjoy that, Lane. Sick tats, I'll give you that. And he's shredded. And then you also got Chad Mendes
versus Famez, remember?
Yep, Famez, our favorite musician in the game. So enjoy those. That's Saturday night?
Yeah, February 19th as well.
That's Saturday night, brought to you by On It as well, BKFC. That's Saturday night. That's a great card. I will actually watch that card. I love it. Mendes, yeah, that's a tough fight for our boy, Alvarez. So Chad Mendes is a savage.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right, kids, enjoy those fights. For me, back on the road, they did release the mask mandate. Shout out to California. LA said, we're not going to go by that, so you guys keep your mask on, but everywhere else, you're good. Cool. I'm in Sacramento, the capital of California, Northern California, and that is Sacramento, February 24th through the 26th. So there's one show Thursday, 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. It's the punchline. That bitch will sell out. I guarantee it. So get tickets right now while you're listening to this. You get tickets at thickboy.com or fatkz.com. And before that, it's Schaub and Friends at the Hollywood Improv. One night only, 8 p.m. It's going to be our 5th freaking sellout. It's me and very special guests. It's my favorite shows to do. Absolutely love them. It's the Hollywood Improv. Shout out to the Improv. Hollywood Improv, Los Angeles, California. One show, one night only, February 23rd, 8 p.m. Schaub and Friends. You know who I roll with. It's going to be a monster of a show. And we have another very special guest. Last special guest. So the last show, oh, you asked? Glad you asked. We had Jeff Dye, Brian Callen, Chappelle Lacey, Chris D'Elia, myself, and Aziz.
Ansari.
Ansari. So, we have some pretty good special guests. We have another big special guest, February 23rd, 8 p.m., Hollywood Improv. Let's sell that bitch out. Make it the 5th sellout in a row. And then Sacramento, you're coming up. Punchline Sacramento. It's not a huge room. That bitch will sell out. So get tickets right now because I can't add shows. That's February 24th through 26th. Then just announced as well as Nashville, Tennessee. Zany's, one of my favorite freaking clubs in the world. That's March 10th through the 12th. And the Chicago's end of March 24th to 26th. Come get some Chicago. So, LA, Hollywood Improv, February 23rd. Sacramento, you're next on Thick Boy Tour, the 24th to 26th. Tickets at thickboy.com or fatkz.com. Also, next week, we're finally dropping the Oops Grenade Calabasas Fight Companion tees, hoodies, and hats. That's on thickboy.com as well. I'll keep you posted. Just follow me on social media to see when what time those drop. I think it's on Tuesday. But the Oops Bomb shirt they see me rocking all the time. We have hats, hoodies, and tees dropping. And it's the first CFC merch that we're dropping. So that should be dope, man. But that's it, kids. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe. Thick Boy YouTube. I told you, man. The team is working. The team is working, dude. Are we ever? And I think we're at 126,000 subscribers. It's basically a month old since we changed everything from Showtime over to Thick Boy. And we're doing the goddamn thing, man. So I can't thank you guys enough. The next Thick Mutter is April 9th. And what's going to be dope about that, and I'll blast this out because I don't think they've made it available yet to the public. But if you're worried about running the 15K, and I get it's a beast. So now for the Thick Boy Thick Mutter, You can run the 5K, the 10K, or the 15K. I do the 15K because I'm a psychopath. Probably should be doing the 5. But I do the 15K. So now you're going to be able to run with me, but you can do the 5, 10, or 15K race. All right? Casey's going to do it again because he's a savage. We're going to have everyone in here do it with us. All right? The whole team's doing it. Shin's going to fix his neck, do the 5K. So that's cool. But keep posting on that. Post on my social media. That's April 9th in San Bernardino. San Bernardino. Is that right? San Bernardino. And that's right outside LA. Way closer than Lake, whatever the hell it was. Elsinore. That was so far away. But this is actually right outside LA. So come get some, man. 5K. Anybody listen? Listen to me right now. I guarantee no matter what shape you're in, you can do the 5K. The 10K for sure. And the 15K, even, again, no matter what shape you're in, we've had some big boys, big girls, small boys, thick girls. Everyone finished the 15K. It's the funnest experience you're ever going to have. I'm there. The crew's there. We'll have special merch for you guys. It's such a fun time. I'm telling you, it's a great experience. And now not only can you do the thick mutter, but remember last time we used the thick code? It just got you into my group, and we did the meet and greet, and we got to eat together after the race. But now they're going to give you guys a discount. So I'm like, you can't offer a code and not offer a discount. So now Tough Mudder was like, oh, our bad. So for this next one, I'm going to make sure you guys get a discount. All right? That's it. Sacramento, you're up. February 24th through 26th at the Punchline. Stay thick. Stay safe. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Tune in to the Thick Boy channel. We have so much freaking content dropping. It's unreal. And I love you guys, man. And I will see you around the way. I'm out.